Welcome, I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I wanted to show you how I make this card. In another video I showed you how you can get pre-cut stamped images ready for stamping and how to stamp them with Blended Bloom. And I give you 6 pieces of 2 layers for this stamp. And so when you get them stamped, they'll be like this. And I've got the Blendabilities markers. They're not quite ready yet for you, but I'm going to just start coloring a little bit with these. And you can use either tip. I find for this, it's kind of easier for the detailed to use the smaller marker tip. There's also a larger brush tip, and if you're doing larger areas, that might be better. So I kind of start out with the smaller layer and you can either start with your dark and move to the light, or with the light and move to the dark. Either way will be better for blending. Now when I'm doing this 2-layer, I'm not going to be working really carefully around. I'm not going to color the center part at all, but I do want to color most of the bottom layer because you might be able to see into that. So I'm going to just get started coloring. I wanted to show you that when I'm using the Blendabilities, I want to color the underside that would be shadowed. So I'm coloring the edges of the bottom layer of the petals and I like to start with the darkest. Okay, I've got one round all the way around, and I'm also going between some of these, I guess these would be sepal little lines, just picking a few of them to go between so it looks like it stands out a little bit better. Make sure and cap your marker so it doesn't dry out, because the alcohol really does dry out pretty quickly, I believe. Now I'm just kind of scribbling a little bit all the way around with my medium color. And if you see any lines, you can scribble over more and more, and these markers will not pill up your paper. And Stampin' Up! Says to use your Whisper White cardstock, so that's why I've made the cutouts all in Whisper White. Okay, I've got my medium color all the way around, and now I'm coming back in with the lighter color. And because I'm going to be actually coloring most of the rest of it, I'm going to go ahead and use the brush tip, and because that'll go a lot faster. And on these parts that are kind of folded over, I'm just really wanting to barely touch those, and maybe even leave some white in there. Go all the way off the edge of the card, the piece. And you can already see how pretty those blendability markers are. The smaller piece, I'm going all the way off the edge, and again just getting really lightly in the middle. And when it comes to the middle, for this card I'm using Old Olive, and I'm using the darkest to get the actual seeds for the flower. And don't worry if you don't get every one of them, it's okay. All the way around. And I've also gone through and just drawn a line around where they meet here. Then I use my middle color and I'm getting the lines, and I should probably be using the other tip, but I'll just do this really briefly. And I just want to go a skinny line around there, and then with the lightest color, and I like that. I can, if there's too much white showing, come back through. Again, I'm not going to bother coloring this one that way. And this part's so fast, I think I'll just go ahead and finish without pausing. I might edit the video to make it a little bit shorter. I just want to get the color laid down on all these petals, and since I've got all the details already done, I can go pretty fast with the brush tip. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to just take my bone folder and lightly curl the edges. And put dimensionals on the flower center that will be covered up. And then when I put the second layer down, I can go ahead and look for those same flowers that are a little bit, or same petals that are a little more distinctive, and layer them on top. Okay, I have my card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and folded. I have a layer of basic black, which is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and I'm sorry for those funny sizes. I just wanted a very narrow border for my white cardstock, which is 5 by 3 3/4, and a piece of back to black that is 5 by 1 1/2. So I'm going to layer those up just like that. Okay, I have these layers adhered. I'm going to tie a bow around my bottle of multi-purpose glue, and I'm really trying to save as much ribbon as I can here. And it's easier to tie a bow around something solid like this. And I want a fairly small bow. Then I'm going to trim my ends. And I just need about 1 inch or so to go over the side of my card. So I'm just going to cut that right there. Put a little bit of adhesive on the back and have I cut my pretty ends at an angle, and these are my straight cuts. This part's going to be covered up by my Blended Bloom, so I don't need that part of the ribbon, and I don't need it to go around. And I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of my flower to pop it up a little bit more. Which way looks prettier? I think this way. this on my card front, my card base. Now, I would probably normally leave the sentiment empty until I had decided who I'm going to give this to, but I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp it with "You Made My Day." I hope I've made your day by offering the cut out pieces. So stamp out fussy cutting. Get your pre-cut pieces. Thank you. Stop by bevadams.com. Thanks. Bye.